So I have a military background, and but I was actually born in another country.
And I was born in Mexico. Since I was 18, I was approved for DACA.
David was very prepared. He basically gave us an outline of all the steps that we needed to take. There were two methods that he wanted to pursue in order to give us the best probability of achieving our goals, and one of them was the I-610A, and the other one was the military parole in place.
We met with Shakira. She was the lawyer I had originally started my DACA with when I was 18. I don't remember exactly what advice it was, but all I remember was that it just didn't feel very clear to us. When we left the office, we just didn't really know what it meant for us, or we just didn't feel confident.
Yeah, when we met with David, it was pretty much night and day, because he actually have every step outlined to the T. This guy is like very detail oriented. I would say a little bit, because it's always that factor of are we going to be discriminated? As an LGBT member, you always have that, in the back of your mind, like, okay, so how exactly is this gonna work out? Am I gonna be discriminated? You always want to have somebody in your corner like David, that he can outline different strategies to maneuver if that were the case. But thankfully, everything was fine. We didn't experience any discrimination at all.
From time to time, I would think about, the person reviewing the case, and sometimes they're older, maybe different culture. So sometimes, it does go through your mind, but I think I wasn't really concerned about that too much, because we were so well prepared by David that everything that they asked for, and it's a lot, we all had it. For the interview, it was kind of like, I don't know how they'll take it, but everybody was really nice. Everybody.
Honestly, like, our lawyer David prepared us, like, he over prepared us so much that when the officer, they just looked at our packet and they're like, okay, I'm not gonna fight this.
Essentially, that's what it came down to. Like,
they didn't really ask us questions like that.
They didn't ask, honestly, they didn't ask us questions.
Yeah, because our case was so prepared.
If anything, I tried to prepare by Googling all these questions, and then the sample packet of questions that David gives you, like, we were studying. You have to, like, start, looking at each other, like, do we know this stuff do we remember these things? But, we were over-prepared, and that was a great thing. It was a huge relief, just sitting there and literally not being asked a thing, because you have everything that you were asked to give, Everything. All we did was show up and provide the documents.
Have, like,
it was,
the attention to detail is like immaculate. Like,
when something changes as far as the laws, we don't follow any of this stuff. We're just normal people, so we don't keep up with any of this. It really takes away all the research that you feel like you need to do or anything. You don't have to be insecure about your case when you have somebody with experience and who knows what they're doing.
I would say don't be scared. Because it's, obviously you as a member, you're always thinking you're gonna have that discrimination, but if you have like a good lawyer like David in your corner, you have nothing to be scared about, because he's way over prepared to fight your case for you if it needs to be. I feel more relieved personally, because it's just like, we've been worried about this whole time if it's gonna work out or not. That's why we were like doing our research, but it was just, we were just hitting a wall until we actually got to work with David and his team. But yeah, for me, it's the relief. Now we have more freedom to travel without restrictions and having to worry like, oh, you're going to be able to come back in and all that.
Like anyone will tell you, it's a huge weight off your shoulders. For someone like me who is with DACA, and that's already a privilege to have, because you have to qualify so much already. Every 2 years I had to pay at least like $800 for hope that, for some reason that they don't
change the laws.
Because I heard that Trump wanted to get rid of it. So it's that insecurity, and like for people who don't realize like what DACA is, or it just allows you to work, allows you to have a driver's license. For any way of living as an American, you go out and you're driving, you can get stopped, you can get arrested. Like there's a whole chain of events that can happen and ruin your life. You can get deported from just that if you're in New Mexico or something, and so it means a lot. It also validates my existence here, because I've been here since I was 8. It's awesome. And obviously, my family died. I'm sorry, my family cried, because they also understand that I can also see my family again. I haven't been to Mexico since I got here at 8, so I don't know what I have memories of my country, and I miss that, but I can now go back and see those streets that I remember as a child, and the food and the people and the community. It's a nice way to vacation, I guess. And so now I can share that, my culture, my experience growing up with my wife, and vice versa. It's awesome. And I think it's worth pursuing, for those people who are thinking about it. Just do it. You're going to keep thinking about it, and it's going to You
literally have nothing to lose, especially if you work with David and his team.
My name is J.R. Juncker.
My name is Ricardo Nieto.
I met Ricardo, and he was not from the United States, Colombia to be exact. And I just felt more comfortable actually doing all the paperwork through a lawyer, and I've known you from previous experience. So I highly recommend your services, because you were so wonderful and you're so detailed and so on top of everything, that I trust you 100%. And I just knew that this would be a seamless experience.
Well, I never felt nervous about it, because I don't think there is any reason why I would feel uncomfortable about having a same-sex couple or going through any other process, because it's the legal right of everybody to get married and to pursue like a status in this country. So I didn't feel at any time nervous about this.
And the same for me, basically, David. I feel like, everybody has a right to love their partner or significant other, whether it's same-sex or natural, it's fine. I know we grow up as being discriminated against, typically from our families, our co-workers, friends, however it might look, society in general. But I feel like everybody has a right to be happy. And really what we did here was to be happy, right? And we wanted to continue our union and our relationship, and this made sense for us. And there was no discrimination that I encountered or nervousness that I encountered going through the interview. At the immigration officer, he was very wonderful, very, very polite to us, and you guided us so greatly through the entire process, and I want to thank you for that. What stood out for me about you too is that you are never once made us feel uncomfortable at all going through the entire process, and that's huge for me. Your ability to guide us through this and not ever make us feel uncomfortable being in a same-sex relationship was really meant a lot to me. So that's why I would always refer you to anybody that needs help in this situation.
Yes, I felt like the government official. He was like really open-minded. He was really he understood our situation. He was like so kind, and he was like actually. Uh, I did get nervous at the interview, but he was so nice that actually the first minute I felt comfortable talking to him. He was really nice, and it was really smooth, the interview. Nothing weird, nothing ever that made me feel uncomfortable at all.
Yeah, it was like normal. I mean, it was just like normal. Like
Yeah, just having a conversation.
Yeah, nobody looked at us funny. I mean, obviously they could see us both go in together, and we were sitting and waiting together. But from every step of the process, there was never any weird feelings or awkwardness or uncomfortability. I mean, it was just very natural.
And never a delay or for anything. Like everything was on time, and nothing like I felt like, oh, maybe this is taking too long because we are a same-sex couple. Nothing. Everything was on time. Everything was according to the schedule. Everything was according to the instruction on the website. So there's nothing wrong or that made me feel that, oh, this is discrimination or this is some kind of attitude towards us. It was really smooth. Yeah, so basically, he didn't ask me any questions whatsoever.
Yeah.
He asked JR all the questions about me and about his life. Just like, oh, you got here in this paper that you were married before, and that kind of questions, and questions about me. Do you know his parents? Do you know his siblings? Do you know this? But he didn't. Basically, he asked me what was my name. That was the only thing he asked me. What was my name and where are you from? What was the last time you came to the country? You entered to the country. That was the thing that he asked me.
Yeah, I can kind of second that. We were quite surprised in a sense, because I thought that most questions would be directed to Ricardo, and it was kind of the opposite for us. More questions were asked to me or towards me, and it was just funny. It was just like, wow, it was just like interesting, because I thought that they would be more. Ricardo was slightly nervous, obviously, and he had a seamless experience because all the questions were really directed to me, but it was normal things. Like they didn't ask any awkward things about, what side on the bed does he sleep on versus myself, or what kind of clothing does he wear, what's his favorite color. I mean, nothing weird or out of the ordinary. It was literally, hey, I can see you guys are a couple, you seem very happy, you're in love. He just asked some basic questions about our family, and that was really it. It was just so easy. The most trickiest question was, what was his phone number? And with cell phone and technologies these days, it's not something that we think about remembering anymore.
He actually said that. Said that, I don't expect you to answer this.
Yeah, it's just, that was a very good kind of tidbit, and I want to thank you, because I had to memorize Ricardo's number, because obviously with cell phones they just press a button, right? And you don't really remember those things any longer. But it was nothing out of the norm or awkward. It was very seamless.
Yeah. Another thing that really helped was what you told us. Like in between the questions, you when you can say more things. Like, for instance, when he asked me what was the last time you came to the country, well, I said that was in January. We were in Puerto Vallarta. We took my mom for Christmas and New Year's Eve, and we went all together with his brother. And he was like, oh, so you went with your mom? Oh, that's nice. You took her for New Year's Eve and all that. So that's a really good advice.
No, I will 100% disagree with that. So I feel the documentation that you requested was normal, standard. In my opinion, it was nothing strange or out of the norm. I mean, honestly, it was just so seamless. And your staff, your processors, they were so kind and always so wonderful in the communication. The text messages, the reminders, the keeping us on schedule. I work a lot, and things can get hectic, and I didn't feel like I was going out of my way to get this processed because everything was so seamless with you and your team. And that I really want to thank you.
Yes, I feel that. I feel like everything you said, everything that you put on the list and on the instructions that you gave us, the questions, everything, it was like so perfect. And we practice, we talk about this, and nothing that he asked in the interview was like strange. They actually asked the question that you told us to be prepared, which was the phone number one. He asked that to him. He asked him my phone number.
Yes.
So yeah, everything was according to the documents that you prepare for us. So that made me feel more comfortable and, like prepared.
For me personally, I would say don't get caught up in what you read online. Don't get caught up in negative reviews or quote unquote hate propaganda. It's not true. You should have a right to be with the person that you love and be happy. We all have a right to that. And in this country, we are allowed to marry as same-sex couples. And we're also allowed to petition for our partners and our significant others. So please don't get caught up in it. It's a bunch of BS, in my opinion. Excuse my French, but honestly, if you work with David's team, there is no problem with anything. And honestly, you will not feel uncomfortable or anything at any process or any moment in the entire experience. And it was so funny, after our interview, within I think less than a week, you emailed us and said everything was approved, and Ricardo got his green card literally within 2 weeks. So to me, that was significantly amazing.
Yes. And from my side, it's like I actually read reviews. People posting experiences on the internet about all the crazy questions and all that, and I was nervous, but basically what I will say is like, yes, don't feel uncomfortable. You got your rights. You don't have to feel awkward in your own skin, because if you love somebody, it will show, and they know it. They know when it's true. They know when what you are showing to them is real. I mean, if your experience with your partner is real, you just go through the process because it's going to be really easy.
Just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
Be natural. And that's really how we went into this together was, we were just ourselves. I mean, we laughed with him, we joked with him. I mean, he's a human being as well. Keep that in mind, guys. He's a human being just like we are. He also has a life and a partner or significant other. You don't know his story, right? And so we all have a story to tell. And when we met him, we just kind of were ourselves. And he even shared some things of his life.
Personal, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, wow, he made us feel so welcome.
At David Nguyen's law office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the law office.